In the heart of the bustling city, as the clock strikes midnight, an enigmatic figure emerges from the shadows. Known only as the Midnight Peddler, he carries a lantern that flickers with an otherworldly light. His cart, filled with trinkets and treasures, creaks softly as he moves, drawing the curious and the brave. Each item whispers secrets of the night, promising dreams or nightmares to those who listen. The Midnight Peddler's eyes, hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat, seem to hold the mysteries of the universe. The Midnight Peddler. In a small village hidden deep within a misty forest, there was a folktale told by the elders to keep children from wandering out at night. It was the story of the Midnight Peddler, a mysterious figure who would appear on moonless nights, selling strange wares to those brave or foolish enough to meet him. Long ago, there was a girl named Elara, known throughout the village for her curiosity. One cold autumn night, she overheard her grandmother telling the tale of the Midnight Peddler to a group of frightened children. "He comes when the moon hides its face," the old woman croaked. "He sells trinkets and treasures, but his goods are cursed. You must never buy anything from him, for the price is more than you can pay." Elara, however, was not afraid. She was tired of the village's dull life and craved adventure. She decided that when the next moonless night arrived, she would go out and meet this Midnight Peddler. The night came. The village was blanketed in thick fog, and the air was colder than usual. The silence was broken only by the creaking of old trees. Elara wrapped herself in a cloak and slipped out of her house. The forest seemed to whisper her name, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. After walking for what felt like hours, she saw a flickering light in the distance. As she got closer, she saw him, a tall, thin man dressed in black. His face was pale, almost ghostly, and his eyes glowed like embers in the dark. He stood behind a wooden cart filled with strange items, silver combs that shimmered like moonlight, glass bottles containing swirling, dark mist, and golden rings that looked too heavy to wear. "Good evening, little wanderer," the peddler said with a grin that sent shivers down Elara's spine. "Are you looking to buy something special?" Despite her fear, Elara felt a strange pull towards the cart. Her eyes fell on a small, silver locket. It was simple yet beautiful, and it called to her as if it held a secret. "How much for the locket?" she asked. The peddler's grin widened. "Oh, this is a precious piece. Its price is a memory of your happiest day." Lara hesitated. She had heard the warnings, but her curiosity was stronger. She reached out and touched the locket. Instantly, a vision flashed before her eyes, her mother smiling, holding her as a child in a field of wildflowers. She felt the warmth, the love, then it was gone. The peddler took the memory, his hand brushing hers, leaving her cold. She felt emptiness where that cherished moment had been. But she couldn't bring herself to let go of the locket. "A fair trade," the peddler whispered. He turned away, his cart creaking as he vanished into the fog, leaving Elara alone in the dark forest. Elara hurried back to the village, clutching the locket. But as she walked, she noticed something odd. The path seemed different, unfamiliar. The village lights were nowhere in sight. Panic rose in her chest. She wandered for hours, calling out for help, but the only response was the rustling of leaves and the howling wind. Finally, exhausted, she stumbled into a clearing. There stood an old, decrepit house she had never seen before. It looked abandoned, with broken windows and ivy crawling up its walls. But she felt drawn to it, as if some invisible force was guiding her. Inside, the air was musty and cold. The floorboards creaked under her feet. In the dim light, she saw a large mirror hanging on the wall. She stepped closer, and her reflection stared back at her, but something was wrong. The girl in the mirror looked like her but was older, with hollow eyes filled with sorrow. Suddenly, the reflection moved on its own, reaching out as if trying to escape. Elara stumbled back, her heart pounding. The locket around her neck began to glow, and the room filled with whispers. The Midnight Peddler was a mysterious figure, known only to those who wandered the deserted streets at the witching hour. Cloaked in shadows and whispering secrets of the night, he carried a lantern that flickered with an otherworldly glow. The next morning, the villagers found Elara's empty cloak at the edge of the forest. She was never seen again, but on misty, moonless nights, a new folktale began to spread. People whispered of a young girl who wandered the woods, her eyes hollow and her voice a faint echo, forever searching for something she could never find. And if you listen closely on those nights, you might hear her cries carried by the wind, calling out for the Midnight Peddler, who still roams the dark forest, looking for his next customer. The tale of the Midnight Peddler is a warning, a reminder that some deals are best left unmade. So, if you ever find yourself lost on a moonless night and a strange figure offers you a deal, remember Elara's fate. Some prices are far too steep to pay. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let me know in the comments what folktale or mystery you'd like to hear next. Until then, keep your wits about you, especially on dark foggy nights.